Good afternoon from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's 2:36 p.m. on the 4th of June 2024. It's been a gorgeous day outside today. I've had a lovely day. Just had a visit from my beautiful Lynn, who's not long ago headed home. And we sat in the garden under the trees and chatted and Charlie was up in the tree and one of the crows came to visit and it talked and talked and talked over the top of us. We almost wished we could understand what it was saying. It was a beautiful bird, had a lot to say, lots of messages to and for Sacred Space. All the birds were busy. There were 2 turkeys also foraging in the gardens, and it's just been a gorgeous day. So I'm still recovering from my bronchitis, and I gave up on the idea of going to the markets. I'm too weak, don't feel all that well, and it's just going to be too hard to try and set up and sit there all day in the cold and then, unpack again when I'm feeling quite lightheaded and dizzy. And anyway, there goes an opportunity to make money, but oh well, I've got to get well first. And historically, I haven't actually made any money at the markets, but then you don't know if you don't try, do you? So I'm a little bit betwixt and betweenst on that issue, but disappointed with myself. But I genuinely don't feel well. So tomorrow night I'm having my sleep study done at my home, so that should be interesting. And Friday morning I'm having a flow test done on my lungs, so that will be difficult, but I have to see what state my lungs are in. And maybe the modern day version of CPAP might work. It's a bit of a stretch, but I hope it does. Again, it would depend if I can afford the CPAP machine. I'm a bit worried about that too. But anyway, I'll have the test and I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Anyway, today's memories, 4th of June 2024. I entitled it Spiritual Recalibrations. And then the photo I added is called Puppy Love, and it's Mama T with her beautiful Beauregard loving on his mama. He really was a snuggly dog. Oh, I miss him so much. But anyway, 4th of June 2023. I woke up at 7:34 a.m. I still feel exhausted, but I got out of bed, let Bobo out for a pee, then polished up the beautiful sterling silver bangle I made from vintage sugar tongs. I still feel weak, so I'll probably go back to bed. It's a grey, misty, showery morning. 7:34 a.m. I wonder why I timed it. I must have written that earlier. That's what's happened. Just confused by my own writing sometimes. 7:34 a.m. I had a complete nervous collapse last night. I was so dizzy, I could barely walk. My heart was racing. I thought I might die. So I had to give up on the idea of going dancing. I went to bed instead. I lay down to rest around 4:30 p.m. but still did not sleep until after 10 p.m. But I knew I was in trouble from overexerting myself the past few days. Now I know the dizziness and unsteady gait is how I manifest sheer exhaustion. Still no pain with the tooth that needs a root canal. I did panic that the weakness was related to that, but I'm holding myself in my usual flight patterns, circling through each day, come what may, holding my sacred ground. I will be gentle with myself today. Then I posted some photos of my copper bangles I'd made and had coated in a product called Protector Clear, which means you don't have to polish them and they won't tarnish and they won't turn green on your skin. So it's an expensive product, but I'm very happy with the results from that. Here's some more Viking braid bangles I made. Here's a picture of a corn chip I found. I think it was a corn chip in the shape of a love heart. I thought that was rather whimsical and sweet. I wrote under it, "Love is the law, it's everywhere." 4th of June 2022. I finally found the strength to change my sheets. It's so delicious lying on my bed with clean sheets. I won't be able to visit Elsa before she is sent to the aged care facility, but I have agreed to talk to her by phone tomorrow instead. It's just so awful that I don't get to see her in person, and that the last time she saw me in person, I was having a row with her weird-ass son. We are friends, but boy, did he love to fight me, that man. So, it's a replay of the abandonment, rejection and cruelty that happened when I left New Zealand, with Hilda dying only 9 days later. Some evil fractalized pattern repeating. But it's not Elsa's fault that I got sick and can't see her in what's left of my slowly eroding flesh. I grieve for that. Anyway, while I was struggling to make my bed, gasping for air like a flapping fish, a memory surfaced. A fortune teller had told me years ago that I would develop a friendship with a very old lady, and that she would have difficulty or bad luck at her end, and I was not to get myself too distressed, as some things are fate, and I was to just let it go without struggling, as there was nothing I could do anyway. She actually worded it this way: "You will meet people in life who seem to depend on your light, Tanya, but it's not your job to save them. You need to practice the art of smacking them on their ass and sending them on their way, as they need to find their own pathways through life." But she said it was tragic, as in this case, I would feel like the abandoner, and that was not by choice, indeed. How accurate that reading was. Because I fought with her son, I could no longer visit her, and only in the last few days did they ask me to visit. Probably a little bit racked with guilt, as they know I was fond of her. And now, because of my asthma and slight cold, it's too late for fuck's sake. So all I can do now is send her lots of love and blessings and strength for her new end-stage existence in the home. And yes, let the rest go. In fact, now that I am seriously convinced that I myself am dying, I did think that last year, by the gods, but this was in 2022. Well, I haven't been well for a long time, so there is that. I need to practice the art of detachment, not take on other people's burdens, and prepare for my own letting go of this mortal coil. They say the more you hold on to people, things, etc., the harder it is to die. I am only holding on for the sake of Beauregard and Charlie and my few precious friends. But I think I'm ready to accept my re-entry into the next dimension next time. Hopefully they, meaning God, the gods, the angels, whoever's running this multiverse, hopefully they will accept me this time, since historically they've sent me back to planet Earth more than a dozen times. I've lost count of how many near deaths I had since childhood. It's not cool, people. That's why I'm a bit squidgy and weird to this very day. I am so sick of chronic ill health and constant tangos with Lady Death. It's fucking torture. Yet here we are, clean bed, dog beside me, sunshine, beauty, and a picture of you. Update, 4th of June 2024. My beautiful 94-year-old friend Ailsa Lawrence was murdered by medical negligence on the 2nd of April 2024. A staff member at her aged care facility in Forest Lake, Brisbane, had given her 2 pain patches, overdosed her, then panicked and forced a drink down her throat, so she aspirated. So that prophecy from decades ago actually came true. 94, she had a tragic ending. 94, and I had visited her 2 days before, and although she was sleeping, she was still quite strong in her core, might have lived another 2 or 3 years. So she was in effect murdered. The horror of it. And no one will do anything about it because of her age. Heinous. Rest in peace, Ailsa. I love you. You deserved better than that. Indeed she did. Note to self. The tragedy of my entire life is that I never found a truly loving, loyal, faithful life partner. The miracle and blessing of my life is that I had to learn to be all the love I needed for and by myself. Somewhere in between those 2 dichotomies, there was the agape love I got gifted rather randomly along the way. The love I expended on my daughters, even though, well, I've written here, one is estranged, but both are estranged now. The love I poured into dear friends and my pets. Love. It's a mystery and a magic that I never wielded, in brackets, question mark, I wrote. Welded? Too well. It was too often my greatest wounding and infernal suffering. No wonder my own body turned on me, sick of dragging me through with my absurdist Pollyanna dreams of safety and sanctity and serenity and somatized bliss with my own beloved. Wherefore art thou, Romeo? Yeah, well, fuck off. Not one wanted me, and who can blame them really? They want healthy, wealthy, docile little handmaidens. Shitfuckery and Shakespearean. Would you like to poke a stick at that? Installments dragged out over 57 years. But I am not bitter. I have lived on earth and had some beautiful experiences. Even on rare occasions, a few orgasms. C'est la vie, bitches. It was not all bad, but mostly it wasn't all good either. Such is the measure of a life, like soup. Once it's all in solution, you never know what you are immersed in until it's too late. Well, the heat keeps getting turned up, and I am ready to get out of the pot now. Smiley face. Sun cancers have me brutalized and overcooked. 4th of June 2020. I have a Hebrew prayer on my mind today. It's actually sung as a bit of a psalm or a hymn. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is for brothers to sit together in unity. Words to that effect. Someone is going home. Home. Didn't find out who that someone was, but that was the message I received. The shades of the past are clamouring for my attention, demanding I look back at their behaviours and their vile, vicious, violent violations of my body, mind, and heart. They have nothing new to teach me, only the merest fact of my survival in the face of all their treachery and sadistic perversions. The meeting in February was a stark and timely reminder that there are many still willing to play that fucked up game, othering and victimization and vilification of a woman who stood up against the effluvial stream of debasement and was countered. Why is my hair doing weird things? At least it's clean. I washed it again today. By the gods, having to wash it every 2 or 3 days, it's driving me nuts. Fearlessly free to be me. Too many strangulations will do that to a woman, make her strange and fierce and utterly intransigent in her own sense of righteousness. They didn't like that I kept living in spite of them, even at times to spite them, even with my purple cyanotic lips, mofos. Then one by one, my enemies fell to the vicissitudes of their own natural demises, as do we all in our own divine timing. I stand here completely in awe of the woman I am, the woman I may yet become. I loved myself alive again. It was a long, slow process. I was torn down and had to reconfigure 1,000 times. The zombie lifestyle was hellish, but I shuffled myself through it until one day I found my own power, the power of truth, courage, heart. By the way, that power had been inside me all along, even since birth, but I had to somehow tap into it and rediscover it and grow it back. Then I realize now that it is true what my shaman friend told me recently. These people only wanted to destroy me, as they could not comprehend my light. It was a game to them, a sadistic, blighted frippery, a childish, churlish charade. They underestimated me, as did I. I was guided by angels, sometimes the darkest angels, who found me in my metaphorical sackcloth and ashes and placed a crown on my head and anointed me. Not as a prophetess or a queen, but a woman who survived. I was protected in the final wars by something holy, an intervention of sorts. No man, woman, or child can come close to my mana without being influenced by it, in some small way or maybe profound ways. I am not loved by the man I chose to love. That is okay, rather a theme of my entire life, coming from a family of the most venal abusers. But I am safe in the knowledge that my heart and my spirit is bigger than that, stronger, wiser, more determined than ever, especially in the dystopian shit show of plague, recession, climate change, and political and social unrest. While many are newly acquainted with these traumas, I have absolutely lived through worse, far, far worse. My children being threatened with prank calls while I attended Kabbalah classes in a misguided and vicious attempt to prevent me from stepping into my light and learning anything of any value. Just one tiny example of what I was put through. The ultimate lesson: I don't need to learn anything, to study anything. Everything I know or need to know is already inside me. I am the knowledge and the gnosis. I have nothing to prove and no thing to show up for. They can waggle their dicks at me and decimate my female form with their crass, infantile, sordid jokes and filthy observations. But I rose above it and left them scrabbling in their own dirt where they utterly belonged. I have been gifted isolation for decades. 19 years since I quit that class, 19 years in September since that other global catastrophe, September 11. 19 years of healing myself, 4 years since that cunt Davidson died and he slammed his dead spirit fists on my front door. A human sound, so loud I opened the door, expecting a policeman to be standing there. The loud footsteps stomping up my steps had even scared my dog. But he cannot gain access to my most sacred of spaces ever again. I rebuke him. So he might have inspired me to peruse and type out those lessons that I read out to you yesterday in yesterday's video. So what? It was an effort I put into putting myself in danger with him and his filthy girlfriend, who he eventually married, and their corrupt, colluding teacher constantly humiliating me. It was a show of my power. Holding my own dignity without resorting to anger or violence. They had to attempt to terrorize my children to get to me. That is the caliber of cuntish misogyny I was dealing with. But my children were stronger than they realized. Jasmine saw right through them, fought them physically when I was strangled by Terry. My brave little girl. But that is how they cost me my child, through trauma. And for that, I pray that hell knows no bounds for them, all of them that were involved in that. All of them, and their enablers too. That they writhe and burn in eternal torment until the day comes for my restitution. I will find them in the next dimension. Finish what should have been done in this life. Nay, revenge belongs only to the gods. It already showed me when he dared to smash his spirit hands on my front door. I have been loved and protected by the gods, which is why I am still here, even after that vile misogynistic surgery. Rolls eyes. Where will my life end, or when? The Holy One sends me spirits of great mana now. My cousin's grandfather, a Māori chief, and his wife, was a daughter of a chief from another tribe, so they were both Māori royalty. Great mana. I am afraid, as do they not say in homeopathy, like cures like. They address me as Manatoa, great power, but I am just a little middle-aged hobbit woman with sore feet and a broken love life, a destiny yet to be fulfilled when all I crave is peace, comfort, true love in my current age and for the rest of my life. I suppose that is delusional, but the Tanya wants what the Tanya wants for her most beneficial outcome. I am hungry for a goodly life, safe and loved, admired, protected, cuddled and cosseted. Enough trauma and attracting cuntish assholes. As my worthy psychiatrist, one of the few men who consistently has my back, reminded me, these people sought me out, came to me. I never went looking for them. Trust me on that one. Vermin they were. They were drawn to me with their own filthy agendas, and I dealt with them as only a warrior goddess can. I never started a fight in my life, but I made sure I finished every motherfucking one. Wipes brow. Phew. Amen to that, sister. The unrequited one had something they desired but could not contain. Mana, mojo, love and light, a tumescent gallows humour and spirit that shone bright. Zygozunt, smile, it's manifesting each and every day as I look back to the shadows and flick on the light. They cower and faint and toss. Him of the self-proclaimed magnificent penis, whom only had skin in the game as he lacked honour and integrity. Shallow bully and coward. See what I did there? Skin in the game. Never mind. Skin is just a surfactant that shields the blood and iron and core. We were both snakes and both Aries, and I, with my unholy, unnatural upbringing with monsters, was just too powerful for him and his consorts and cohorts. And they knew it. God only knows how they knew it. I love you, they scream from beyond the veil, hoping to succor my rage and seduce me into intemperate patience with them. But they were vicious, bloodless children, desiccated, desecrated, unholy perverts. And I, the survivor of even worse perverts than they since early childhood, could only pity them. So today, tomorrow, and for the rest of my life, I allow only those of genuine, true respect, honour, and love for me to enter my holiest of holies, the repository of my infamous last nerve. My most beautiful and most precious and most miraculous final frontier of womanhood, my heart, my life force, my ecstatic dancing, triumphantly joyous Pardon me. Dance. Everyone else look busy. I am here. 4th of June 2019, 1:05 p.m. Very strong winds today. Be careful driving, Brisbaneans. At least it is sunny outside. 4th of June 2018. Busy morning, off to the murder house, the dentist at QE2 Hospital. Then Crystal and Jared and our doggies are going on a road trip to Mount Tamborine. Yay! Living life and mini adventures, as I have been so sick for so long, so I need to grab at life as much and as often as I can. And yes, I need to be doing that again soon because I'm feeling very, very weak and depleted, and I need to grab at life and enjoy every day. Yesterday was a hard day, pining for an old lover, feeling distraught and beaten down by a crushing, soul-destroying loneliness, which was dispelled by the sight of eternity, the horizon at sea at Wynnum Beach. Walking around like a ghost, then revivified, Bobo and I ran across the sand like wild children and puppies. It gave me strength and succour, but coming home, the walls sank in on top of me like mud. I watched interesting movies on SBS On Demand. The Girl King, about a lesbian, Queen of Sweden, who tried to bring enlightenment and education to a, quote, country of peasants. She was friends with René Descartes, who was a French philosopher. The night before, I watched The Brave New World about Pocahontas, another woman who loved too much, a feckless, selfish cur of a man. This did not allay my depression. Never mind. Today is another day. I get to breathe free of the past and dance in my own sunshine and light body, even if I am a hefty hobbit woman. And then I posted a photo of the top of a hill that we go to until Mount Tamborine, just beautiful. That photo would have come from Jared's phone. It takes better photos than my iPhone does. Here I posted a quote. I'm amazed by people who lose weight with exercise. When I exercise, nothing happens because my DNA still thinks I'm a European peasant. So it's like, oh, are we running from the English again, lass? Dinna ye worry. We'll keep ye plump as a partridge to outlast the murderous bastards. Well, I laugh at that every fucking time. It never fails to amuse me. My former lover and homeopath, the evil, now dead Israeli cunt, once told me that I had the physique of a German peasant, Bowen, that was designed to plough fields and gather harvests, so I need to move my body and work really hard to keep fit. I suspect my bastard mother told him to tell me that, as they were in collusion to destroy me. Ultimately, he was partially right. I do feel better after dancing for several hours, mentally at least, as the endorphins kick in when I am already beyond exhaustion. But my Scottish ancestry also harbours fat cells to outlast winters of discontent and famine and monstrous English traitors laughing out loud. You know whom you are, darling. The most monstrous, ferrety, weaselly traitor of them all. Oh, but I'm over it now. I have beautiful men in my life, all wonderful, genuine, authentic, sweet, kind, loving men. And one day, I pray in the not too distant future, I will choose a wonderful lover as well. That would be a mind flip for me, by the gods, after so many years of celibacy. 4th of June, 2017. My friend, I'm smiling because my friend Lynn, we discussed this during our visit today. She said, by God's, Tanya, she said, if you take a lover who's a bit virile and a bit passionate and has plenty of stamina, she said, you're going to have trouble keeping up. And I laughed and laughed because it's true. That would be a paradigm shift. I hope the lover I take into my life in the future is a genuine loving man who's a bit gentle with me. Oh, dear goddess. Anyway, 4th of June 2017. Big shift and shits happening. The last 4 nights, Sophie Cat has been running through the house like a hellion. This evening, one of my cats did a big steaming dump on the rug in the lounge. I was furious as I'd only just cleaned it and gotten it dry and replaced it in the past few days. When I cleaned the poop, I found a dried pea stain, probably from last night, in the same spot. So I washed it off and poured vinegar on it. I myself was subjected to an upset stomach tonight as well. I find this perturbing, as all I ate today was a hot chicken fresh from Woolies and a packet of caramels. No wonder I got stomachache. All that sugar and mixed with chicken. Oh, you have to laugh. Maybe a bad mix in my gut, but nothing that should cause diarrhea. You sure about that, Tanya Aarons? I have felt fatigued since forever, but the past few days were bad, although I still managed to dance on Friday night. The cats are unsettled and Beauregard is very clingy tonight. What is going on? I hope my daughter in England is safe from the terrorist attacks. I am no longer in contact with her, but I pray she is protected by Great Spirit and safe and well. I myself am going forward into the world with my head high and my ass hanging low. But no, what else is new? Life goes on, and my cataclysmic gut problems are just one of my many gifts from the microcosm to contend with. This morning, I don't think the gallbladder situation had been diagnosed yet at that stage. This morning I salted the perimeter of my property, asking Hashem for protection to allow only true friends, true loves in my gates, and to protect all who live here and all who come and go. Sacred space must remain sacred. 4th of June 2016. I woke up after only 3.5 hours sleep, loving the wild winds and rain. The garden will be singing for a few days. Wildness gets me high. Drinking tea and lying in my warm bed. Bobo refused to pee outside as it is wet, wet, wet. But oh well, he is happy having snuggles with Mama. I am tired but happy. I had 2 croissants and a peanut slab, New Zealand chocolate, Whittaker's brand, for breakfast. Yummy. I am going to just let the day unravel graciously. It almost sounds like the sea with the rain pelting down on my tin roof. Reminds me of my childhood in Island Bay in Wellington, New Zealand. We went through many maelstroms there, including the Wahine disaster when I was 3. Well, 2 days shy of turning 3 to be exact. Maybe that is why I love a good, wild, frenzied, earth-shaking, teeth-chattering storm to this very day. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger or stranger, loving life in all its glorious fury. There she blows. Then I commented on a video that I posted. This kid called 911 on his dad for running a red light. And the quote says, "No, you can't. That light's red. You stay there. I'm calling the police." Dibba dobba, am I right? However, my comment to that was, I should have done that every time I put my life in my fucking maniac father's hands, every time he drove me anywhere. He even managed to give me concussion, rushing me to the hospital with my cut knee. Slammed on the brakes and I hurled forward to hit my head on the dashboard. I was 7. Then he screamed at the doctor that it was only a cut on my knee. The doctor looked at the idiot and stated matter-of-factly, "It almost chipped the bone, Mr. Phillips." It was a very deep cut indeed. I sat dazed and confused, the hallmark of my entire life with my sociopath parents, in a great deal of pain, not just physical, thinking, why am I surrounded by fucking idiots? He had screamed at my mother and her back at him about whether to take me to the hospital at all while I bled profusely from my knee. Then Mum had tied a handkerchief around it, and he had grudgingly thrown me into the front seat of the car, then drove in his usual style of driving, which miraculously we survived, but all suffered trauma issues forever after, all the time screaming at the top of his voice. My darling daddy, my hero. But I was 7 and still loved him then. By the gods, that was my first love, and probably even greater insanity loving that monster than even the love I had for former lovers, who were equally monstrous, by the way. I guess that's where the pattern was first formed, wasn't it? And I'm praying, I'm praying that at 59 years of age, I've finally outgrown that pattern or broken that pattern. Because I deserve a man who's kind and decent and loving and a reasonably cautious driver. who has my back and my front, and who would never go out of his way to harm me in any way. By the gods, I deserve that much. I found this morning that my internet was down, so switched the iPhone on and off and reset the modem and the TV set-top box. I did notice workmen last evening working on the Optus tower. Now I wonder how much data I've used up by not realising I was on 3G and had no Wi-Fi. Damn it. 12:25 p.m. I have been awoken by the sound of Beauregard chewing through another of my bras. It was on top of my Empress chair, on top of cushions. Nothing is sacred or safe with him. Lucky it was not my corset. So out we went in the rain, which has eased to a gentle drizzle. He peed, but not much. I filled up the chicken food, still in my nightie, 'cause fuck it. It is a thick cotton one, so it's see-through. That should say. That should say, so it's not see-through, by what I meant by a thick cotton one. John can have a quick thrill. He obsesses anyway. I don't know what I meant there. I just said it's not see-through and then, but that creepy neighbour watched me day and night. I think what I meant by that, just the mere thought of me being out in my nightie was enough to excite him, because he really was a pervert. But anyway, wouldn't matter what I had on. Just walking around fully dressed in my garden was enough for him to predate on me, the pig. But anyway, he's dead now. Been dead since 2018. I haven't had any trouble from him after he last offered to rape me, so I told him I was sick of his bullshit and I will be informing his daughter, the doctor, about her father's rape fantasies. He has left me alone after that. Silly, demented, old alcoholic Romanian. Anyway, back in bed, legs aching, feet sore, fairly tired still, but feeling better each day. Just now discovered how Bobo is getting my bras. He climbs up on the chair, on top of the cushions, and pulls everything off. I just had to move my corset out of his mouth reach. Little brat. 2 bras gone in a week. Luckily, old worn ones. I also threw out 2 more as, pardon me, they were worn out. He has a dozen toys all strewn over my bedroom and hallway, but the idiot dog has a lingerie fetish. Typical bloke. Birds are singing again. Rain must be over. Neighbourhood quiet and bunkered down. Lovely day. 4th of June 2015. Jared got to meet my future husband. Get out of my way, Amber honey. Oh, darling, you should have chosen me, Johnny Depp, but you didn't get to meet me in all my witty, scintillating hobbit glory, did you, my darling? And we all know you only go for skinny, model-type women, so... Oh! There was never any hope for our true love to manifest. Maybe. One never knows in life. I don't know what's happened here. That's very heavy, dragging down. Right. Oh, but doesn't he look lovely in his Jack Sparrow get-up? I've always had a thing for pirates and Vikings and pirate Vikings and Viking pirates and wild, wild men with great and fabulous hair. Oh, bless. Anyway, 4th of June 2014. I was very annoyed that my friend Jared went to see Mr. Johnny Depp, But when he told me he'd been down there and got to meet him, I was very, very annoyed. But I couldn't have gone anyway because at that moment in time, I had a very bad bronchitis. But still, he could have given me the option of saying, do you want to come and meet Johnny Depp with me? My friend Jared, whom I love dearly, can be very competitive with me at times. To you, Jared. Here's looking at you, kid. But anyway, I was sick at the time, so he probably, I think his excuse was, I didn't ask you because I knew you were sick. Anyway, I wonder how Johnny Depp feels about cyanotic lips. I wonder if the CPAP machine, the technology they have now, will get rid of my cyanotic lips and give me more oxygen and allow me to thrive at long last. Oh, that's a fucking fantasy, people. It really is. But anyway, we keep trying. 4th of June 2014. Just had my 3-weekly debrief. Phew. My doctor, that means my psychiatrist, because it was my debrief, was horrified to hear I had been attacked, and he stated that my trauma almost always stems from the vilification of my victimhood. Yes, he gets it. He thinks I'm a bit brittle after the trauma on Friday and will see me in a week. I feel very supported and cared for. I'm lucky to have some wonderful friends, professionals, and my gorgeous daughter in my life. So I just arrived at Crystal's, that's my eldest daughter's name. She tells me that Ramon and Suki are in love. He no longer just humps her. She actually goes up to him and lowers her head to invite him to mate. They are both desexed, so it is rather cute. Happy little bunnies. The sky turned my rabbits pink, she wrote. Can you see them? Oh, yes. Yes, they do look quite pink. Here's a photo of little Frida, who I bought from the rabbit sanctuary. She was a gorgeous little a gorgeous little silky chook, and that's Penny outside the little coop I had for her. My new little Chinese silky bantam just blew my mind. She's a little white puffball of attitude. She chased the scrub turkey, which is about 10 times her size, right out of my yard. Wish I'd filmed it. It was hilarious. Little Frida is just like her new mama. Oh, big hair, big attitude, and feistiness. She ran to join up with Tabitha and Elvira, who are much bigger than her too. Tabs pecked her hard on the head, so I had to push her away. It will take time to sort the pecking order, but I eventually got little Frida back on her nest to sit on her egg. Not sure if it is viable after her running amok and clucking in outrage for half an hour. What a caterwaul, or should I say, chookfest. Chag Sameach Shavuot, the giving of the law on Mount Sinai, a momentous occasion of the creation of the very first justice system, the 10 Commandments, brought down from the mountain by an exhausted but exhilarated Moses, or Moshe, and delivered to the children of Israel, whom it is taught in Kabbalah that all who were ever born or living at that time, and all the souls of the yet to be born, for all the future generations, even me, lol, were present on that day of reckoning when Hashem spoke to the people through thunder and lightning and gave the law. Those 10 basic laws later in history formed the foundation of the British law and the Magna Carta. Those basic laws form the foundation of all human decency for all the nations. The fact that those laws are not always obeyed, or are corrupted or ignored, does not change the intense spiritual meaning of that event thousands of years ago, amidst a primitive people, former slaves in a desert in the Holy Land, a land that is still fought over and reviled by many nations. Scary thought. To be a Jew, to hold to those laws, to hold to that land, to cleave to our culture in the face of so much unjustified blind hatred and revulsion, has never been an easy task. Once again, anti-Semitism in the form of the BDS movement and anti-Zionism in Europe has prompted a new exodus to Israel, the only country where, in theory, it is safe to be a Jew and live as a Jew or die as a Jew. Some of us choose to not live a strictly religious life. But in our hearts and minds, we know what it means to be a Jew. For have we not lived through horrors amongst horrors, the following generations of the Holocaust survivors? Do we not know in every core of our being, at a cellular level, the trauma of what it means to be alive on this planet and a survivor? Some of us turn away from God and our spirituality, but in the end, it comes back to find us in the streets, in the cities, in the countries of our birth, and in places we have migrated to. We can never forget who we are. The world won't let us. The world would annihilate us once again. We hold on to our faith in a higher power that shows us unconditional love and protection, acceptance and grace in a world that is often unloving and often unlovable. Like the alchemist, we pray and connect and co-create a world that is good and kind and meaningful. We rebuild from our shattered past and heal the wounds of a sick and dying planet. We live as one with Great Spirit, and we connect with all peoples of all times. For this we were chosen, then almost totally destroyed, only to rise again as a nation. This is the long, tired history of the Jews. We cannot be denied our God, our right to thrive as a people once more, or our right to basic safety and freedom. 4th of June 2013. Quiet day, slept till 2:30 p.m. Went to Aldi to buy cat food, dog food and milk. Came home. Watching Game of Thrones Season 2. Loving it. 4th of June 2012. I was so stressed from being scammed on the net and having to go to the bank today to open a new account and then wait ages to notify Centrelink of my new bank account number. I had to take to my bed and slept for several hours. Phew, hopefully I don't get scammed again. It was very distressing. 4th of June 2011, a gloriously beautiful day, even though I slept through most of it. Thinking about going out tonight. Maybe I'll meet that special man who has a lot more to offer me than coffee and cake, lol. Although, I doubt it. But you never know if you don't go. Computer out of action again, so I will be updating from my phone again. I'm temporarily using my baby's laptop, and although I feel technologically stunted, fumbling all over the place with this machine, I have to say I love it a lot. I think she had, my daughter had, what are they called? It was an Apple laptop. Maybe if I ever win the will dispute, I will buy one, and a new desktop is desirable too. True Blood Season 3 sucks majorly. I love it. Awesome show. Can't wait for Season 4 to fill my life with authentic bloodsuckers instead of the shadowy vampires in my real world. I rescind my invitation. I'm furious and disappointed that some people think I'm a disposable object. I smell mendacity, a serious lack of respect and integrity, and a huge case of male menopause. It's completely fucked after such a happy day and my new mojo, kaplam, blown to pieces again. Who was I referencing? It was 2011. Oh yes, I remember. That dead shit. Anyway, life goes on, people. 4th of June, 2010. It's been a busy week. Can't remember what I managed to get done, but I feel exhausted anyway. It's 11 p.m, so I think I will go and snooze the night away. Another favourite way to kill time. And my friend Nanny Dubs wrote, I'm so glad to see that you had the will to carry on despite all the uphill battles that came your way after your mum died. We got the last will from the public trust, and guess what? My kids got nothing out of their dad's will. They found a loophole, whereas what monies that were left over that should have gone to the kids instead went into their house mortgage. There is no justice sometimes, and when you do fight for justice, it costs indeed. Bloody bastards. Ouch, Tanya. That is truly nasty. Your poor kids must be so upset. While my lawyer is sending my file to an agent in Brisbane, try another scam merchant really, for advice as to whether or not to take my case to court. So I guess I'm sort of hanging in the balance too. I guess I can only just keep trying and hoping for some justice too. But the bitch is blind, deaf and dumb, especially if you are poor, lol. What can I say? See if Lady Justice speaks sign language and the fickle finger of fate makes her do the right thing by me for a change. Well, I gotta keep positive. I'll let you know if and when I get anywhere. It's been a long, painful road for many years, so I'm looking forward to the time I can bury all this crap with the rest of my enemies. The only happy thought I have is that all my enemies are now just so much dust at the bottom of the ocean, or dust in their fetid, mouldy graves. So the moral of the story is not to sweat the small stuff, because we all end up compost in the end. So we might as well enjoy what's left of our lives and not let our enemies win over us by making us bitter and twisted like they were. Sigh. Easier said than done, eh? And thus concludes today's readings of Even Date. Have a beautiful afternoon, evening, night, morning, wherever you are in the space-time continuum. It's now 3:47 p.m. Brisbane time, and my throat is dry, and I could do with a bit of a drink of something. So I'm going to go and do that, and you have a wonderful day, people of Earth. My hair's all fly away after washing it. Crazy freaking hair at the moment. Have a beautiful day. What was I saying? Oh, yes. And remember, as always, even with Medusa hair, never ever let the bastards grind us down. To you, my beloved friends and subscribers and supporters, and no doubt a few enemies with Schadenfreude. Kick in the ass every single time, babies. Bye for now.